Alright, so next video we got going is we're doing a value block in. So what is a value block in? Unlike a contour line drawing, you can lift your pencil this time. Except you want to generally keep your block in to 3 different values, right? With my high schoolers, we did a value scale. I'll do a tiny one right down here. 3 values we want to stay in is our shadows, which will be a really dark value right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so these are going to be the darkest values in your drawing. For those of you that don't know what value is, it's literally how light or dark an area is. Greatly affected by light. A lot of good drawings have high contrast between your darkest darks and your lightest lights. Of course, right in between is your midtones. It's going to be your middle value. Now from there, what's nice about a block in is that you can adjust your values once you're done. But today we're just going to kind of work in these 3 values. All right, cool. So these are the 3 values I'm going to be using. Same deal. Figure out a position that you want. This might be a little difficult because I don't have the best of lighting right now. As usual, you guys are seeing my hand from a top view. I'm seeing it from a straightforward view, so what you see and what I'm drawing is going to look a little different. Here, I like to break it down into different shapes first. So I'm going to start off by breaking my hand to a lot of basic shapes. Now that helps with the block in because when you break it down into a bunch of shapes, you can have a brain block right now. You could just fill in the shapes that you make as opposed to figuring out where to put your values. Now if this all means nothing to you and you don't know what I'm saying, you can always leave a comment below and I will do my best to answer. Check my videos frequently. As you can see, I'm making lots of mistakes here, but that's okay. That's alright. Accuracy of my hand isn't the main concern here. Alright, so we have general idea of what my hand looks like. Of course, we're going to add in that wrist there. Alright, so I have my general shapes. I'm going to start blocking in the areas that will hold my darkest darks. Which is just kind of creating planes in my hand. So I'm breaking my hand into more shapes. So I'm looking, I'm seeing where my biggest shadows are. And as I'm drawing these planes, you actually can start to see the hand become a little bit more 3D. This is a really good way to start a drawing. I think for the most part, that's pretty decent. Okay. So I'm going to start adding in my darkest shadows that I happen to see. Now, as you notice, as I start to throw in these values, the hand will start to look a little bit more like a hand. For these parts of the fingers, I'm actually going to use kind of a darker mid-tone. And underneath, I'm going to add in some heavy shadows, because that's what I see. Add a mid-tone right here, and add a mid-tone right here. Now it's okay if you do kind of go beyond these 3 shades that I've drawn here. Just as long as you keep these values separated. As you guys notice, I try to keep these values as clear as possible. Because when you start to have a lot of similar values, your drawing starts to look a little flat, which is not what we're going for here. Alright, it's not looking too bad. I'm going to add in a little dark shadow value up here. Have that come around like that. I'm going to start to add in some lighter midtones to kind of help break up the hand a little bit. Now if you notice, the direction that I'm shading tends to change. I'm going to add in some darker values right here to help separate the palm. A little bit darker values here. Nice dark value here. Start to add a lighter midtone. Coming from here. I do want to keep my highlights white. Starting to look a little bit more like a hand. I'm liking that. Now the reason why the highlights are mostly up top is because my light source is coming right from the top, and as it comes down more, you start to see less highlights. But, you know, you could still adjust certain areas like that. Add in some shadows. Add in a mid-tone there. Add in a mid-tone right here. Darken it up as we get to a shadow. Alright, so here I have my block in. Now, like I said, from here, if you want to start to try to blend these into smoother transitions, you can. There are a variety of ways of doing that, either adding more value to blend in your darkest darks, or using an eraser to bring out those highlights a little bit. So I'll do a little bit of both. This isn't part of a block in. Once you finish adding in all your values, that's when you're done with the block in. Now this is just straight up rendering, making my hands look a little bit smoother, making the transitions a little bit smoother. Now you don't want to erase too much because it starts to damage your paper a little bit. So you kind of got to be conscious of what you're doing. You know, as I blend these in like this, it starts to look a little bit more realistic. This is just a very quick, fast way to get your values down. I was able to do this in a couple minutes. If I were actually drawing in a more realistic sense, it would take me a lot longer. This just gets the general idea of your drawing down. Okay? Alright, that's it for this video.